morning, good afternoon, good evening. Tonight, we'd like to deal with a topic of a general nature. Is Africans, capable of self-rule? One has got only to look at the continent and how few of those countries in Africa have got a healthy and functioning democracy or whatever system of government which is healthy and is meeting the people's needs. There are very few. This is, in my view, a sad indictment. Benjamin, what is wrong with Africa?
Good day to you. Good day to our viewers. First of all, as the citizens of Africa, do we understand what democracy is, let alone what democracy needs us to do? Because we have to realize that democracy is not something where you just wish and it happens. Democracy is something that, you work on a day-to-day basis, and there are certain a certain part that you are supposed to play to ensure that there is that existence. A lot of people will say democracy is non-existent, but you can see there is an existence between non-democratic country and a democratic country. I can draw any you know differences between countries, but I do not want to name. But I can say for certain that Zimbabwe is not. Why? Because you can see, you know, where they are in terms of, prosperity for the citizens. We're looking at growth as a nation, GDP wise. You're looking at self-actualization of the citizens. There's so many things, like I said, that for us to be a democratic country, particularly Zimbabwe, there is a, a part that the citizens are supposed to play, a very, very important part. And we need to understand that part, and we need to understand what democracy is before we wish it.
Well, I mean, it is true that there is a correlation between good governance. I'm not really. I think sometimes some people get hung up by the word democracy. It doesn't really matter. Call it whatever you like. It's just a system of government that has been able to deliver the people's aspirations. That's all we're talking about here. Call it whatever you like. Some people think, oh, we want our own form of democracy. Call it whatever you want. But the point is, there is definitely a correlation between those countries where there is a meaningful and healthy and functioning system of government and the economic prosperity. More so when you look at the whole world. Africa, we have got the fortune, the blessing of having incredible resources. And yet, we still remain the poorest continent on planet Earth. One has got to just look at it and say there is something wrong. And I think one of the biggest problem we have is our seemingly inability to look at ourselves in the mirror and be honest with ourselves. That seems to be a problem. And one has got to ask, why is it so difficult for us to look ourselves in the mirror and saying we're not doing something right? Why is that so difficult? I think that is the question I really would like answered here.
We have to look at the fundamentals of democracy. One of the basic fundamentals is accountability. Our leaders that are in public, that hold public office, have to be accountable. We have the right to demand accountability from them. But no, you will find that the opposite is true. We do not demand accountability, first of all. In fact, we defend them at every point and turn. No matter how wrong, they are, they have gone, or how wrong or how much they're destroying. We do not do that. I want us to look at, similarities between, within Zimbabwe, the opposition and ZANU-PF. There are so many similarities, and we cannot ask for accountability from both divides. ZANU-PF has failed as a government. We have to agree. The opposition, as an opposition to government, they have failed. But none, are asking the right questions to get accountability from these guys. So these guys can do whatever they please, and they know they can get away with it. This is where our problem is. We cannot, like you rightfully said, we cannot then look into the mirror when there is no mirror, because we have shattered it. We have expectations, but we cannot then go and challenge to get what we expect, the basic rights. We cannot go because we have failed ourselves. So I cannot see us getting to that state where we can say, we will be a democratic country when all we do is protect those that are the worst part, those that are actually perpetuating, our suffering, those that are detecting us, that we do not grow or receive, get to a stage of self-actualization. We, as the citizens, are stopping that move by protecting those that are in public office.
I agree. This afternoon, I was reading a submission by someone on social media, and they were talking about what is the way forward. It was laughable because the way forward is the individuals proposing is that we need a rule of law and good governance. It's laughable in the sense that here is somebody who is saying what we all want to hear. Everybody knows that we need good governance, we need rule of law. The question is, how do you get there? Particularly when those in positions of power and authority are happy with the status quo and are determined to keep the status quo. You know, he was arguing that, oh, we need a, the old generation to accept that they have failed and the new generation to come in. Do you seriously think Chamisa and Mnangagwa will stand aside and say, yeah, okay, fine, we have failed. You can take over? I mean, this is the kind of naivety that has not helped Africa at all. You know, this is your classical uh, fable of the cat saying, oh, we need to put the bell on the cat. The mouse, sorry, saying that we need to put the bell on the cat. That's all very well. Yes, of course. Every time the cat is coming, we will hear the bell. But who the hell is going to put the bell on the cat? You know, and you seriously think you can go up to the cat and say, Mr. Cat, please, can you wear this bell from now on? I mean, you know, this is one of the problems we have and why we have not made any progress at all. We are incredibly naive. And even when we have successfully managed to get into power, as ZANU-PF, for instance, did in 1980, the minute they were in power, they were so concerned about securing their own positions and their own retention of power. They did not hesitate for 1 minute to do exactly what the white oppressors were doing. In other words, we just removed one oppressor to replace him with another. And this is one of the endless cycles that we have seen again and again on our continent. You know, where we seem to be yesterday's liberators become today's oppressors. And then today's liberators will become tomorrow's oppressors. This is the cycle that we've been caught up with, and we don't seem to know what to do to break the cycle.
You know, it reminds me of an interview that was conducted at just before independence, and a question was posed to say, what if Mugabe fails? You know, most of the answers that came there were, I do not want to think about land. And here we are. And the worst part is, from like I've said, the similarities between ZANU PF and Chamisa led party and his crew is the same. There are so many similarities. They all want positions. They all want to protect their own intentions, own needs. I mean, I can tell you, when somebody says, a SADC report said, that the elections were flawed, the noble thing was, to stop everything and look for a solution to why, the election has been flawed. But no, everybody, including the Chamisa-led MPs and councillors, were all sworn in, despite SADC saying. And then 2 days later, we are now turning to say SADC failed us. How is that? Who failed who? You failed SADC because you made a fool out of them. You took on knowing fully well that the process has been, is not legitimate. sometimes, you just wonder. And, it was a good question that you asked in the very beginning. What will it take? What will it take for us to realize that we, now the citizens, have become our own problem? When somebody comes up with a noble idea or stands up against, the oppression, and is not only standing up for himself, he's standing up for all of us. We are quick to gather stones to stone him or her. Why are you doing this to ZANU-PF? Keep quiet. Why are you doing this to Chamisa? Keep quiet. But these are the people that have failed every one of us. Surely, sometimes this is why when we start crying to the world to say, help us, they just look aside and say, no, we are not even going to tolerate you because you are beyond help. And this is why we are wallowing in the dirt, because of us.
Well, I would like to conclude this with a video clip of Margaret Thatcher speaking to this very issue of why some nations are poor. And and to underline that whether we like to admit it or not, the issue of looking ourselves in the mirror is an important one, and we cannot afford to ignore it.
Countries are not rich in proportion to their natural resources. If they were, Russia would now be the richest country in the world. Angola would be very rich, and there are many other countries that have a lot of natural resources, but they have not had an enterprise economy to develop those resources. Russia has everything: oil, gas, diamonds, platinum, gold, silver, timber, marvelous soil, but has been poor. She's also, on the second point, got very bad environment, the Aral Sea. I remember going to one communist country in about the 60s and seeing a powder coming out of a chimney of brown gas, which of course is a nitrous gas. And I was absolutely horrified. I said, well, what are you doing letting that happen? The lungs of the people must be terrible. This is acid. You can't let that go on. Tact has never been my strong point, as you know. And it is the countries that have had the wrong system, which have not created the wealth, have not cared about people. Look at the other side. Japan, no natural resources. Switzerland, no natural resources. Taiwan, no natural resources. It is the political system which enhances the enterprise of the people and gives it a framework within which to operate, which will deal with this poverty.
Well, I couldn't put it better myself. Thank you very much, Benjamin. And for those of you who were able to join us tonight, thank you very much. We hope you'll be able to join us again tomorrow, 6 o'clock UK time and 8 o'clock Zimbabwean time. Good night.